Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster, and I thought I'd do a quick video today about something completely non-bushcraft related, and that's these things, which are e-cigarettes. Now this is not a video advocating smoking or anything like that, but it was just a topic that I kind of wanted to bring up, just because it's something quite sort of personal to me. So long story short, I used to be a smoker, potentially, depending on how you want to look at it, I still am because I use one of these. But I smoked for many years. I started in my sort of late teens, and I was one of those people that never really kind of got on with quitting, never really wanted to quit, didn't really see the point. And last year I decided, you know what, enough's enough, I'm going to try and quit. Now I tried kind of the cold turkey approach first of all, didn't really get on with it, tried things like patches and sort of nicotine inhalators and stuff like that, and none of them seemed to work for me. Now I saw a lot of stuff online and through friends and things about these e-cigarettes, and to be honest I kind of thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I went down to a shop local to me that sold them, and the first one I bought was actually this one. It's made by a company called VIP, which is the one that was handy when I first started looking into it. It's a little sort of pencil-shaped thing, rechargeable battery inside this bit here, a little reservoir at the top that you fill up with various types of e-liquid, I think they call them, and you can get these in all different flavours and so on and so forth. And to be honest, I didn't really think much of it. I thought I'll give it a try, not expecting it to work, and actually it did. So really, I suppose this video is more about anybody out there. If you are a smoker, you're wanting to quit, and you want to try. You've tried various other methods and they're not going on with them. My recommendation would be go with one of these. The reason I think it's worked for me is that the sensation of smoking is still there. You are still getting a small amount of nicotine from it, so you're not just sort of completely depriving your body of it. And essentially I'm still going through my normal routine of smoking. Now whether that's a good thing or a bad thing I don't know, and I haven't completely stopped. I'm kind of using this as a replacement to cigarettes, but it does seem to be working really well for me, and what I will say is I do feel a lot better for it. Now there's a lot of stuff in the press about this, these e-cigarettes and the e-liquid that's inside them. Now I'm not entirely convinced that they are 100% safe, as everybody says. It's just a little bit of nicotine and water vapour. I don't know, I'm not a scientist, and I think a bit like smoking, it's going to take a number of years of people with scientific knowledge looking into this kind of stuff to tell us whether there are any long-term health, well, maybe not benefits, but sort of deficiencies, if you like. But what I can say is that things like exercise and running and things like that are a lot easier now that I'm using this instead of cigarettes. I'm sure there are a number of the harmful elements that come with modern tobacco and all of the chemicals that's mixed in with it to help it keep burning, and additives and what have you. And I'm sure that you don't get those in this. What I'm not sure is whether there are other things in here that do cause you harm. I say I'm no expert and I genuinely feel better for it, but I don't know, who knows. But anyway, so what I was going to say is that I started off with one of these. These are two that I purchased, and they worked really well for me. And then I bought another one which I've since given to a friend, which was a little bit more powerful, a little bit stronger, so I got more smoke or vapour or whatever it is you call it out of it, and then I finally sort of progressed on to this one, which is more of a kind of a heavy duty one, and this is the one that's working for me at the moment. Now if you are looking into doing this, what I would recommend is going somewhere that actually sells them. The battery and the reservoir things are not too important in my opinion. I don't think it'd make a difference which one I use. The thing to get right for you is the e-liquid. Now this is a I forget the name of it, but it's a mixture of blueberry, pomegranate and cream, according to the packet, and this is the one that works for me. It's very sweet, but not sickly sweet, and it's just quite pleasant to smoke, if that's the right word for it. However, when I first started, I bought a couple of different flavours. One of them was tobacco flavour, which was, I'll be honest, was absolutely vile, tasted nothing like smoking a cigarette, and it really put me off from the beginning. Luckily, I think I purchased, I think it was a cherry flavour off the top of my head, which was actually really, really nice. So I smoked that for a while. I moved on to a menthol flavour, which was quite pleasant. I've been through probably a dozen or so different flavours since then, you know, anything up to sort of, you know, things like cola cube flavour, which if you get a chance, I recommend it. It does taste really nice. Down to you know, blackcurrant and apple and all different types of flavour. There's so many out there on the market now that, you know, you will find the one that suits you. But that, you know, most places that sell these things will have testers with kind of replaceable tips for hygiene. And I would say just go down there and try half a dozen different flavours, maybe more, see what suits you, find the one you like, and then go with that. Don't be put off just because the first taste of whatever flavour you try is not for you. And the other tip I will say, and only because I did this myself without realising it, because there is nicotine in this, I went down and I sampled a large number of flavours, you know, a couple of sort of puffs on each one, seeing if I liked it, changing over to another one, and it was absolutely fine, and I bought what I wanted. And as I started to walk out the shop, I noticed I was a little bit unsteady on my feet, and the reason for that, I only realised this later, was that I probably smoked the equivalent of 3 cigarettes in the space of about 5 or 6 minutes. So obviously I was overloaded with nicotine, and I was just a little bit sort of wobbly. You know, a couple of minutes later I was fine. But again, you have to remember when you're smoking these, unlike a cigarette, you know, you don't really know when you've finished. And that can be a problem, because you know, I still go outside, even though you're supposed to be able to use these indoors. I go outside with them, and I kind of have what I assume to be a cigarette, and then I go back inside again. But you don't know how much you're smoking, so it might be an idea to sort of, you know, if you're finishing up your last packet of cigarettes before you're moving over to one of these, maybe just time yourself, give yourself a sort of a rough idea. Does it take you a minute? Does it take you a minute and a half? Does it take you 2 minutes? And then when you move over to this, don't smoke this for any longer than you would do a normal cigarette. Now I have cut down the amount of times a day that I use this in comparison to what I would have done with normal cigarettes, and the idea was I was going to kind of just wean myself down and then completely stop. That's not going to happen for the time being, but that is kind of what I was planning on doing. At the moment, this is very much a replacement for cigarettes, as opposed to something that's going to make me stop. But again, I have managed to cut down considerably with this. So anyway, guys, that was it really. Just a quick chat about e-cigarettes. You know, how I personally think they've kind of helped me. They've certainly, I've not had a tobacco product, with the exception of the odd cigar now and again, sort of Christmas and New Year especially. But I've not had a cigarette now since July of 2015. We're now in 2016. So that's not bad going, especially for someone that's tried and failed at quitting on a number of occasions. But anyway, guys, hope it was useful. Any comments and questions, anything you want to know about these? I mean, I'm by no means any expert, but I have been using one for a while, so if you've got any questions, then please do let me know. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks, guys.